Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Uh, Last video that we were discussing when it comes to securing your endpoint in the subject that was a PFS installation, we left the door wide open for a subject that can be discussed day after day after day. And today, in the subject of today's video, we are going to attempt to develop a little bit on that subject. And that subject is, of course, cybersecurity. Now, before I continue with the primary body of the whole subject, I would like to thank each and every one of you that has subscribed, commented, liked. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you like the content, please continue supporting it. If you don't like it, that's okay. Leave me a comment telling me how I can improve myself if that is the case. And if you don't like it at all, then just feel free not to interact with these videos whatsoever. Back to the primary subject. When it comes to cybersecurity, one of the primary I suppose subjects or objectives is to make sure that your network is as secure as possible. Now, realistically speaking, and please don't take this the wrong way, no network out there is penetration proof. As in, no network out there is guaranteed to never be penetrated or enter, whatever. You know what I'm saying. no innuendo jokes, please. We all know how that can go down the wrong hole. So yes, one of the most important aspects of securing a network is to make it as secure as possible, closing down any loopholes and preventing any type of potential access that a potential attacker could use. Now, sorry, the second most important aspect of cybersecurity is monitoring, logging, and making sure that you stay in the know with regards to what is happening on your network. And as such, there are multiple tools out there to help you navigate these resources, these informations that you can collect, and to organize them, of course. Depending on the type of tool that you are using, it can have an agent or it can be agentless, meaning that there's a little program that you install that will interface with a server somewhere, whether it's on your network, whether it's in the cloud. It kind of matters. Preferably, it should be on your network because security related information should be worth its weight in gold, essentially speaking. But if you do find yourself using a cloud tool, they are fairly secure because they use some pretty sophisticated hashes to transmit information to and from that agent. And if your account with those tools is fairly protected, primarily with two-factor authentication, tertiary authentication, you should be okay to have that kind of information available on a cloud service. And this is kind of setting the subject on the table because I am going to be talking about two such tools. One of them is going to be located on the cloud, and one of them is going to be self-hosted. So we're going to start. Sorry, I tried to say start and stop at the same time. I don't know why. Brain fart, I suppose. But we are going to start with one of the simpler ones, which is installed on a Windows server, and it's called Windows Server IPAM. So, or IP address management tool. What it is in its essence is a tool that sends out queries throughout your whole network, and it gathers IP information about all the devices that you have on your network. And it is fantastic in the sense that if you have a certain scheme, or for example, you want to collect a little bit more information about the devices that are located on your network, IPAM would probably be one of the better utilities to use. Now, it is something that has many varieties out there on the internet. If you look up open source IPAM, one of the first things you're going to find is IPAM PHP or PHP IPAM, which is an alternative of this tool that I'm about to showcase to you guys. But it's in essence the same function. What it does is it'll collect a little bit of information about devices on your network, and it will display it in an easily to understand manner to you as the technician. So how do we go ahead and get this tool installed? So for the purpose of this video, just before we continue, I have set up a very small dummy domain. It is one Windows server, which is going to be hosting Active Directory, DNS, and the IPAM tool, and 2 clients. I have also preloaded 5 active domain users, which are going to be the Belcher family: Bob, Linda, Jean, Lucille, and, or sorry, not Lucille. Anyways, the Belcher family is preloaded as my Active Directory users, and we're going to use them to create and gather data so that we can analyze it. So first and foremost, let us install the Windows IPAM tool. How do we do that? We're going to be opening the Server Manager dashboard, and we're going to add roles and features. We're going to click on next. It's going to be a role-based role-based or feature-based installation. Sorry, I'm a little exhausted. And we are going to continue. It's not under server roles. It's going to be under server features. And if you, depending on the resolution and how much information you can see, it's either going to be right there, or you're going to need to scroll down just a little bit, and it's called IP Address Management Server. So go ahead and click on that. It's going to tell you that it requires a bunch of features as prerequisites to install. And once you have selected that, go ahead, click on next, and click on install. Now, I'm going to pause the video, and as soon as this is done installing, we are going to continue. So installation just concluded. I have already clicked OK, and on the dashboard, you are going to notice a new little subtab or branch, whatever you want to address it as, that is going to pop up, and it's called IPAM. So let's go ahead and click on IPAM and configure the IPAM server. For just a little bit of information, this does install 2 features. It installs an IPAM server and an IPAM client, and that is how you are going to see the details that this is going to be collecting. So let's go ahead, click on step 1. We're going to connect to the server. If your DNS is working, great. If not, make sure that DNS is working great before clicking on the step. And then it's going to take a minute, and it's going to change to connected to blah blah blah. Next, we're going to provision this. I haven't really ran through Microsoft SQL Server, and that is totally okay. But for those of you that are interested, you can use either or, depending on how complicated your, I guess, organization scheme is, to use a Microsoft Server database to store IPAM data. But for now, I'm just going to use the Windows internal database. In either case, this is just for demonstration purposes only. And in a proper environment, I guess you would be using a more sophisticated option such as Microsoft SQL Server. Now, but I am guessing. So again, you will need to evaluate the use case scenario. And before I go into a rant, let's just click on next. Okay, so this step is basically saying that you can do it 2 ways, depending on how many, I guess, domains you're going to be managing. It's just going to create an additional set of rules that is going to use to create it. So I have just created just a quick prefix IPAM. So everything that starts with IPAM underscore blah blah blah, it is going to I know there's going to be something that has been created or modified by the IPAM provisioning, and this is basically just doing a summary of the IPAM stuff right before. Sorry, of the stuff. I apologize. I am a little tired of the IPAM rules before they get deployed, and it is going to apply them. So I'm just going to click on apply, then provisioning in progress, and we are going to return as soon as this is done. If you see this error, do not do the silly thing that I did and try to deploy it on a domain controller. So we're going to go back a couple of minutes, and when I said I'm going to provision it to the domain controller, do not do this. I just read an article located right here, and it basically says this error is raised because you try to provision it on a domain controller. By design, IPAM cannot be installed on a domain controller. It's pretty self-explanatory. So I am going to go ahead, deploy another server, and provision IPAM to that. So I will be back in a couple of minutes. We are now officially back to the point where we left off. This is a completely separate server where IPAM is fully installed but not yet configured. So let's go ahead and run through the configuration. We're just going to select IPAM. We're going to connect to IPAM server, which is located on server number 2. It is connected as administrator. Now we're going to provision. Go ahead, click on the provision prompt, provision the IPAM server prompt, click on next. We are just going to use the local Windows internal database. I will make a future video using the Microsoft SQL Server base, and in the group policy based, just as a prefix, IPAM. Well, you don't even need to add the underscore because the underscore is going to be added regardless. So just go ahead and type in IPAM to just denote that any changes that have the prefix IPAM underscore are going to be created by the automatically created GPOs. Go ahead and click on next and then apply. Now it's going to provision, and I'm going to pause this one more time, wait for the provisioning to be complete, and I will be right back. Okay, and it is now successfully provisioned, and go ahead and click on close. Go ahead and click on step number 3, configure server discovery. So this is pretty straightforward. You're just gonna click on get forest and give it a second to make its discovery. Okay. Oh, okay. So make it make it start the scan. Once it completes the scan, cancel out, and then click on configure server discovery again, and it will give you the option to select the forest and then which domain it wants to discover. Under select domains to discover, select which one you want to do, click on add, and under server roles to discover, if you have more than one service available, in the background I installed DHCP just so I can see how it behaves, but it's not really going to change anything about the video. It's not configured. The main configuration I have is just Active Directory and DNS. Everything else is handled by pfSense in the background. So I'm going ahead and click on add. One domain is selected, and then I'm going to start server discovery. And as you can see, our table over here has populated. We are still waiting. And we are still waiting. And we are still waiting. Discovered servers are based on this timestamp. Now, select or add servers to manage. Oh, okay, so we have DNS. Wonder. I wonder if I remove PHP, I would like to have it managed. Hmm. Okay, give me a second here. All right, and we are back. I had to do a little bit of troubleshooting off screen, but I will be more than happy to walk through with you all. Essentially, what ends up happening is that for whatever silly reason, during the primary setup, whenever you're deploying IPAM on its own server, it doesn't want to seem to my apologies. It doesn't want to seem to completely deploy the necessary operations that it needs so that it can get full access. And as such, it kind of fails and it keeps saying that access is blocked and it won't work. So I will walk you through what I have done and hopefully you guys can follow, and if you get stuck, please leave a comment. I'll be more than happy to give you guys details additionally, because this is I mean, I hate to be one of those guys, but it took me about 2 hours to figure stuff out. Microsoft forums, Microsoft help topics, so on and so forth, but I did get it to work. And if you can see in my overview, sorry, if you can see in my server inventory, IPAM access is unblocked and it's managed, and it's everything is working as it should be. So here we go. So the first step is going to the local security policy and going under Windows Defender Firewall with advanced security. Under firewall, inbound and outbound. Oh, where did it go? Darn it. There are two things that you need to do. You need to add 4.8.8.5 into the inbound and the outbound rows. I don't understand why it's not here. It should be here. Give me just a second. Okay, sorry about the confusion. Here it is. The first row that you need to do is allow TCP port 4.8.8.5 in and out to your domain wide. This is the first thing that you need to do. Second thing that you need to do is you need to, if you remember during the setup, we ended up setting a prefix. There is a deployment command. It did take me a second. As you can see, I have been troubleshooting it in the PowerShell, but essentially this is the command. To Daisy. And I will post it in a text document. So this is the command. Invoke-IpamGpoProvisioning -domain, the name of your domain. So I will put name of your domain. GPO prefix name, it's the prefix that we did during setup. So, setup. Delegated GpoUser, I would put domain admin. And last but not least, IPAM Server FQDN is going to be fully qualified domain name IPAM server. And so I will post this into the video description as well. So as soon as you run this command, do not create the GPO the group policy objects beforehand. Let the command do it. It will create these three policies, and this is where the last step comes into play. You are going to manually go into each and every one of the policies and add the fully qualified domain name of the IPAM server. So for me, it's server 02. I've added it, and you're going to click on advanced under the computer object. Once it's added, you are going to give it full control, and then you're going to click OK. You're going to repeat that for all three group policies. As you can see, I have it here in DHCP and finally in DNS as well. So the other objects are going to be added by the PowerShell command, which is exactly what you want to do. You want to have that with the default values. Leave it as the default values and just add the machine that's hosting your IPAM server, nothing else. And then the last thing that you need to do, sorry, that was the last thing that you need to do. And after that, if for whatever reason IPAM continues to give you issues, whenever you're going to be selecting or servers to manage, make sure that there's no like pending operation. You're going to click on edit server. Under owner, you're going to add administrator. And last but not least, if it's still giving you the red X, uncheck DNS and DHCP, click on OK, let it query, edit server again, re-enable DNS and DHCP, and then refresh. And after refreshing it, retrieve server data, refresh server access status and retrieve server data. And that is the 2 hours that it took me to troubleshoot all of the operation and to get IPAM completely unblocked on these operations. So now I can use IPAM to control DNS and DHCP operations from my domain controller. Now, it's a little bit overworked. Some people might say not necessary, but you know, it's IPAM, and I personally like IPAM. It's a great tool to use, and if it's too much for some people, I understand. No harm, no foul. But if it's something that you want to do, hopefully this is going to give you the necessary tools to get it to work. Now we're going to go into the second half of the video where we are going to be using a monitoring tool with an agent. And the tool that I'm going to be presenting to you guys is called Roboshadow. This is a project that I have been looking out for ever since its initial announcement on Reddit. And I am so happy that I have, because it's a very feature-rich cloud-based. I know what I said earlier about cloud-based being not as great as an on-premise one, but please hear me out. So this is a cloud-based tool, and it works pretty fantastic. So if you allow me a moment, I will demonstrate it to you guys. So there's let's go over here. Yes. So Roboshadow. Their website is roboshadow.com, and I am going to sign in with I'm just going to sign in with the my credentials for this. I have created a dummy account so that I can demonstrate it. Now, whatever you guys see in terms of API keys, this account is gonna get nuked anyways. So I've already done the onboarding, but when you freshly create your account, you're gonna get the walkthrough. Create your organization and download your agents. You have Windows, Mac, and Linux agents, which is pretty fantastic, and you have something that's called an Active Directory connector, which is what's going to allow you to monitor and observe the users that are logged into your machines whenever your Windows agent or Linux agent is running. So each machine individually requires just a Windows agent, and that's fine. The only one that requires the Active Directory connector is your Active Directory controller or controllers. So each controller that you have gets the AD connector and the regular agent, and then each regular workstation or any other server that is not an Active Directory controller gets just the agent. So I will demonstrate. Now we are back into the Roboshadow, and I believe that is not where I downloaded it. Darn it. Okay, so allow me to find it, please. I think I put it in. Of course, it's on the one that I closed. All right, it is client 1, I believe. Yeah, I know I'm logging in with the local administrative user. There's a purpose for that. Please just bear with me. For this one, I would like to do it in real time, simply because it's a pretty straightforward plug and play operation, and I want you guys to sort of witness the effects of everything happening in real time, just so that you can hopefully be as impressed as I am by this tool. Okay, so here's the RoboShadow agent, and you will have to note your organizational ID, but that is given to you whenever you are going to be downloading the agent. So I personally don't care if you see mine. I will be deleting the organization and the account right after this demonstration. So organizational ID is entered and RoboShadow is being installed. Finish. Okay, so we are going to go into server 2. Right. Sorry, there's too much happening at once. So, yeah, okay, we're not gonna worry about server 3, but for now, server 1, server 2, and we're gonna put it on the 2 clients. So now we're just gonna give you know what? It's a closed network, might as well. This, and I want to do this as well. Let's do everyone. Then, so this is my Active Directory, and this is IPAM. That's great. Here's right. Users, administrator, downloads. Okay, network, users, administrator. Oh, right. Now we are going to perform this installation onto the Active Directory controller. That way you guys can see the difference between a regular client and an Active Directory. So go ahead and you want to copy your organizational ID. And the first thing you want to do is you want to install the regular agent, just the Windows agent. Accept the terms, enter the organization ID, install. And after you install the Windows client, you want to install the Active Directory sync agent, which is essentially a similar walkthrough. Except install the organization ID, and then okay, hold on. This. Okay, so it does take a hot second for the other installer to fully close. So make sure it fully closes, obviously. And then client 2, give it sharing as well. Gonna go to users, administrator, downloads. We're gonna steal this, or I'm just gonna do it for one client simply because I wanna save a little bit of time. And when I say one client, I just mean one client workstation. then boom, let's accept organization ID, and then we're gonna install. We're gonna click on yes. So as soon as this is done, you're going to have to reboot all of your affected machines everywhere that you have installed the client. So for me, it was, sorry, not here. It was Windows Server 2, Client 2, and Windows 1. So these guys are gonna get the restart. And I'll just give you guys a quick intro on how it works and the type of information that it reports. I really am impressed by it, by this project, and like I said, I have been following it since it popped up on Reddit a couple years ago. Just gonna approve this real quick. Yes. All right. And now it's not gonna pop up right away, so it does take a little bit of time. As you can see, it's already started detecting that we have RoboShadow Agent installed on machines. So let's see what is going to start reporting. Look at that. It already detects 2 machines, and it needs to detect the third one. So Windows IPAM. Oh, okay. This one is still rebooting, so that's why it hasn't detected it yet. But as you can see, it does give us a lot of detailed information, such as the type of machine that it is, workstation versus server, the DNS, or sorry, the machine name, the operating system, what version of operating system it is. I am emulating the, or sorry, I am virtualizing it. So obviously it's going to tell that my machine is VMware and VMware, but under other circumstances, like for example, if you're running on an HP machine and all your drivers are installed, it will actually properly identify as, you know, whether it's going to be HP, Dell, IBM, Lenovo, what have you. Okay, so this is still rebooting, so it is taking its sweet time. Okay, so let's go ahead and explore it. What can we do with this wonderful piece of hardware? So, or sorry, this wonderful piece of software. Generally speaking, this is more of a reporting software rather than anything else. And ideally, what you would use it for is to make sure that all your machines are in compliance. Now, realistically speaking, with the free tier, you're not going to be forcing your machines into compliance. However, let's go and take a look under LAN scanner. I believe LAN scanner I can do with the free tier. Yeah, okay. So there we go. So depending on what you want to see, there's different machine or different ways. Why is it saying that it's not synchronized? It is synchronized. Oh, hold on. Maybe I think I need to. I don't remember if I needed to actually like run the agent. In either case, there's it's been a while. I am rusty with this piece of software, but it is, from what I remember, even at the beginning of the project, it was a really fantastic piece of kit when it came to all sorts of reporting. and I have extensively used it in both my home network. So whenever something goes out of whack or something needs updating, or my parents are like, "Oh, you need to update this," I'm like, "Well, no, I don't, because it's reporting that it's fine." So let's go ahead and see if we can tell it to. Oh, this is. I wonder why is it not synchronized? It should be. Sorry, give me a second. Like I said, I am. Let's see, what did go to downloads, connect, all services MSC, then Roboshadow AD sync. Okay, so yeah, yeah. Okay, so it is all automatic. Um, all 50. So I need to go under localhost 5860. Hmm. Okay, hold on. So I need a. Oh, I need a supported browser. So let's download Firefox. We are almost done. We are at the end of the video. This is just me troubleshooting myself rather than you guys. And I know it could be a little confusing at the beginning, but I do promise you the confusion is mostly during setup. After that, you are pretty good to go. Pretty much good to go. Get this. So Google.ca. Firefox Enterprise. Let's download that real quick. There was version 128. Wow, that's it's pretty far ahead. Now, I'm not using the domain user. So this is why I might have some problems. I'm not yet using it, but it will come. This is just for demonstrative purposes still. And just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. HTTP. Oh, okay, okay. So I need to see which port it's running. Rubicon. resource. So it sometimes it might not run. Make sure that your service is running as well. Ah, there we go. Okay. Go away. Do this in Firefox. 23:59, and we're going to schedule that. However, I want to run it now. So what does it say for running it now? Hangfire. Okay, so did I? Oh, so without the pound. Yeah. So I'm thinking the okay. So according to this, our thing is synchronized. Now, if we come into our dashboard and we go under where was it? My goodness, I am so lost. This should actually be updating. No? Okay, well that's just kind of disappointing. I don't have an Azure 365, but whatever. In either case, this is so far it's pretty good. Um, there's different types of scanners that you can run to make sure that um, for ports, I suppose. So I've never the LAN scan is actually a new feature since the last time I've used it. Um, it's been like to me it's been great because for what I do end up using it for, like I said, it's only for monitoring purposes anyways. Um, but it is a very powerful tool, and I know I'm kind of stumbling a little bit to sort of describe the use of this piece of software, but I do promise you that for what it is, like already this is discovering devices that aren't mapped. Like for example, this is just a pfSense router, but it is recognized. Well, it's recognizing that it's at the proper address and whatever. There's a lot of data that's available to you as individuals. Like for example, see tamper protection on Win Server 1 is out of date. So I do remember vaguely though that there used to be what was it? What was it called? I don't remember if it was a button or a tab or something like that, but there used to be a oh, this is new. This is new. Oh, so they have remote management now, where you can send commands. Oh, you can take control too. No, control disabled. You do want to take control. Okay. Oh no, they have a lot of new stuff. Uh, that's pretty fantastic. No, they this from when it started about 2 years ago and what it is now, it has changed drastically. And by the looks of it, they have done a lot more. So this is what I was talking about. Okay, so they did put it behind the paywall. So for whatever you need to do, um, it's called the Cyber Heal feature then, and let's actually take a look what it's actually doing. Okay, so not this one, but this. All right, and it's, as you can see, it is doing stuff because the CPU and the RAM were maxed out for a while, and but it's completely invisible to the user. Wow, that's pretty fantastic. And it's only £12 for the license. I know, again, please, I apologize that I'm stuttering for words, but it is, wow. They have done a lot of work to this piece of kit, a lot of work, and I gotta tell you, I am fairly impressed. To the creators of Roboshadow, if you guys are watching this, good job. Seriously, good job. Um, you have gone strides to what this used to be, and yeah, no, you guys have done strides, absolutely. So what I kind of wanted to tag along with you guys is under, there used to be a way to get reports. I don't remember how this was done. And so much more information than usual. So much more. I would like to see. I would like to see this stuff be more accessible to the free tier, or a lot, just slightly bit more control over machines in the free tier. That might be a little bit too much to ask for, so I do understand. Um, what ended up happening to like the general reports feature that you guys used to have? I think this is it, huh? Okay. No, that is absolutely crazy. You guys have really outdone yourselves. Ah, see, see. Oh, it's an external. Okay, never mind. Oh, I don't want that. What? Sure. Let me just try this just out of curiosity. I'll put the video on. Okay, so I'm not gonna do it because I don't have permission to scan this IP. Not bad, but like, wow, man, I gotta tell you, I am sincerely impressed because the reports have gotten even more detailed than what it used to be, and it's fantastic to see that these guys have gone as far as this. Thought I updated it. I installed it on server 2 as well. Oh well, whatever. That's details. What I kind of wanted to show you guys is essentially this feature because, long story short, and I do apologize, this video is almost an hour again, and I just wanted to make a nice little 20-minute video. So the beautiful thing about the Active Directory agent is, especially once you install the Active Directory sync agent and you get it to synchronize properly, is that through this online portal, locked behind two-factor authentication, locked behind everything, I would consider that relatively secure because nothing is ever impenetrable. Please, please, please remember that. So nothing is ever impenetrable, but I would consider this fairly secure. And in all honesty, for those of you who are looking for just a reporting tool and something that can engage a little bit better in terms of like reporting for your devices, this is the go-to. You can scan, you can if you have the paid license, you can apply OS updates remotely. I still have to see how this works with like the with the remote access. When get is installed. Okay, so okay, I'm catching this. Okay. Ransomware protection though doesn't want to play nice. Okay, that's fine. But yes, so essentially, as you guys can see, once WinGet gets installed, there's so much available. Sorry, not WinGet. Once the agent is installed, there's so much for you guys to observe in the report. Like this is just the services. This is any commands that you want to throw in for this. Sorry, this is the commands that the agent has been performing so that you are always in the know with regards to what's going on. And I want to know, okay, I just want to know, uh, how can I remote management? So it's not really remote management in the same in the way that you and I know it. It's remote management just by this console right here. And by the looks of it, man, these guys have done a fantastic job with now I have to get reacquainted. I obviously I have to get reacquainted with this, but it's absolutely fantastic what these guys have done. So just one last feature to showcase before we go. Let's log into Windows WinX Client 02 and we are going to log in with Bob Belcher. Yeah, let's log in with Bob Belcher. And then we are going to see Bob Belcher get logged in by this Bob dot Belcher. And think this is the password? Yes, this is the password. So Yeah. Okay, so this hasn't been done. Let's refresh. We should see the user. Huh, interesting. RoboGuard is for the premium. That's fine. Vulnerability scan. Is the vulnerability scan also? Yeah. Okay. So everything is essentially locked behind the upgraded. So it's yeah. To generate report, and of course the report feature is actually fairly great. Oh, okay. Never mind. Let's see. What are you going to give me as a report? Okay, so it's just a general summary of all the systems that are running on this domain. Yeah, time for protection. Fantastic. Okay. Did Bob ever sign in? Okay, so Bob is signed in. Bob Belger. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So in that case, like I am kind of assuming that the reason why it's not yet updating with my Active Directory users is because it hasn't synchronized yet with sorry, it has not yet synchronized with my Active Directory account, or sorry, with my Active Directory machine, which makes sense if you think about it, because if it hasn't synchronized with Active Directory yet, it should have, honestly, especially since I ran the AD logon. Okay, well, I mean, I will try to report in 24 to 48 hours. I will try to make an additional video, hopefully with the additional details of how everything is working out. I really do hope. When next client 2 is not joined into Active Directory, it doesn't recognize. Anyways, before I get sidetracked again, I will try to wait until hopefully Active Directory gets synchronized with this. I will leave this on overnight, so that if there's any data being transferred, it will, and then hopefully by tomorrow or the day after, I will do sort of like a follow up and go a little bit deeper into it. But this, I'm blown away. I do apologize for stuttering a little bit like that, as I am, but with the amount of progress that these guys have made on RoboShadow, it's absolutely fantastic. I can't really badmouth it. It's great. Um, Thank you very much for joining me. This was a more involved video than I wanted it to be. But it's we have looked into an IPAM feature, or sorry, an IPAM tool for your network, as well as a agent enabled tool, which allows you to get more familiar with how your network is and where the weak points are. Again, RoboShadow, I have only great things to say about it because of how detailed they are. And if you guys have the opportunity to just sort of just mess around with their site, learn how it is, get familiar, and I am sure that hopefully you will come to like it just as I like it. And if you can apply this in a work environment, please do. Even if it is as a free project, please do. It is fantastic. These guys have done a lot of work, and to see how far they've gotten, I am amazed. I am amazed. Thanks so very much for joining me. Please like if you've liked this video, dislike if you disliked it, subscribe. Your viewership and your support is irreplaceable. Thank you so very much. I will see you all in the next one.